John Kramer is told that, due to his advanced brain cancer, he has only months to live. After a CT scan, he witnesses a custodian stealing from a patient in the next room, and imagines him in a trap where he must turn a dial to break all fingers on his right hand, to avoid having both eyes sucked out by vacuum tubes, with the custodian failing to do so in time. After the custodian sees John at the window of the patient's room, he returns the stolen items. John later attends a cancer support meeting where he meets Henry Kessler, who claims to have also gotten a terminal cancer diagnosis. A physically destitute John later encounters a seemingly healthy Henry, who claims to have been cured by an experimental Norwegian cancer treatment conducted by a group led by Dr. Pedersen. A desperate John contacts the doctor's daughter, Cecilia Pedersen, who refers him to her clinic in Mexico City. John is driven to the clinic by taxi driver Diego and meets Cecilia and her team, Mateo, Valentina, and Dr. Cortez, as well as a young woman named Gabriella who claims to have been cured by Cecilia, and another patient, Parker Sears, who just underwent surgery. John also meets Carlos, a young boy who lives nearby, and the two bond when John fixes his bike. John goes under for surgery, and he wakes up to Cecilia telling him that he is now cancer-free. Finding a new lease on life, John purchases a gift for Gabriella, however. Upon returning to the clinic, he finds it abandoned and realizes that the whole operation was a scam. Deducing Dr. Cortez was Diego in disguise, John kidnaps and interrogates him. He then places Diego in a trap where he must remove explosives wired to his arms by cutting through his flesh, which Diego successfully performs. Jigsaw's apprentice Amanda Young then kidnaps Cecilia, Mateo, Valentina, and Gabriella for wake up in the clinic, where John and Amanda greet them as the subjects of Jigsaw's latest game. Valentina is tasked with severing her leg with a jiggly saw and extracting enough bone marrow to release a key to free herself. Although she succeeds in removing her leg, she is unable to escape in time and is decapitated by another jiggly saw. Whilst John and Amanda are temporarily away, Cecilia disembowels Valentina's corpse and uses her intestines as a rope to lure her phone and calls for help. But Amanda shocks her into submission and confiscates the phone. Parker breaks into the clinic, claiming he wants his money back. Amanda restrains Parker while Mateo is forced to drill into his own skull and remove a portion of his cerebral tissue to obtain a key. Despite succeeding, after the tissue takes too long to dissolve, a heated mask closes on his face, killing him. Gabriella is next and is suspended from shackles around her wrist and ankle while being subjected to ionizing radiation and must use a sledgehammer to break her shackled limbs and escape. She succeeds and John orders Amanda to take her to a hospital. However, before she can, the now free Parker forces them at gunpoint to free Cecilia. Cecilia kills Gabriella by breaking her neck and reveals she called Parker, who is part of the scam. To free her, she forces John to chain himself in her trap. She hears Carlos outside of the facility, and having noticed John befriend the boy, chains him up opposite John on a seesaw-like trap which waterboards them with blood. Parker and Cecilia leave to retrieve the bag of stolen cash from John's control room. However, a tripwire is activated that seals Parker and Cecilia in the room and frees John and Carlos. John reveals Diego gave up Parker as one of the scammers, and he tricked Cecilia into luring him to the facility. A deadly chemical gas begins filling the room, with the only respite being a ventilation hole large enough for one person's head, forcing Cecilia and Parker to fight each other. Cecilia stabs Parker to death but can only watch as John, Amanda, and Carlos, to whom John gave the money, leave the facility while she is left imprisoned. Sometime later, Henry, who turned out to be part of Cecilia's scheme, awakens in a dilapidated bathroom with a new trap strapped to his stomach, overseen by John and Mark Hoffman.